What's up, guys? Synthetic Division here. Today's video, we're gonna do an unboxing. Got a package today, so let's crack it open and see. Couldn't find my knife. That's scary because it's probably on the floor somewhere. But I found this little pokey screwdriver, so we're gonna crack it with that. We'll be gentle. Oof, good packaging. Good tight tape on there. There we go. Be better if I had a knife. Wish I knew how to put that. It's probably hiding from me somewhere. But hey, this little pokey screwdriver. So if you can't tell from the video, I mean, we've got the NerdQaxe Revision 6 sitting there. So it should be kind of a dead giveaway, obviously the title. Let's open it up and find out. So we got a shirt, because I wanted to order a shirt. Why not? I wear the hat all the time. It's dirty as heck because I wear it at work. So I figured, why not get a BitX shirt while we're at it? So there it is, 2X shirt. Pretty awesome. I love the logo. Just love the logo. We get a stand. I don't think we'll be using that, but we'll give it a try. And then we got the miner itself. Paperwork. So this is the new Revision 7.0 BitX, or I'm sorry, NerdQaxe Revision 7.0. We'll get into the specs here shortly, so let me just get this opened up, make sure there's no crazy stuff. Okay. So I ordered a hat too because I needed a replacement because I pretty much burned this one out. But it comes from a different location, which is fine. I'm not too concerned about that. Get our power supply out while we're at it. It's the exact same power supply that I got with my NerdQaxe 6.0 from Vimu. 124 watt power supply. So this is going to be some assembly required, which is fine. I don't mind that. Very good job at keeping that nice and safe, guys. Way to go. I can appreciate good shipping like that. Brown box, bulk style box, but that's okay. Let's pull this out real quick. There we go. Static bags, love it. I love static bags. And there she is. We'll do a full breakdown desktop test. So I'm gonna pause the video real quick, and I'm gonna get this mounted on the stand. It's just 4 screws. Obviously, there's a fan hole. I didn't get the separate fan. Anytime I selected the separate, well, I guess it doesn't require special tools. Look at that. Never mind. We don't have to pause video. Just slides right onto the stand that they got. Okay. Toolless design. Can appreciate that. So let's put that right there. Make sure we're on tight so it doesn't fall forward. Like we're a little off on that corner. There we go. Have to pop it on a little bit. There we go. Well, there we go. I guess it's toolless. That's pretty cool. Now, full transparency, I paid for this out of my own pocket, but the reason I didn't buy, I tried to get the stand with the back fan, but every time I did, it said out of stock, so I just ordered it without, and I can tell you how much it was, but it will be going in this stand. So I won this in a drawing probably 3 months ago from Carpoo's Mining. Ryan Bloss over there, he had a little giveaway for a 3D print stand and a Noctua fan. Of course, I don't really care for Noctua fans, but hey, I'm not going to complain about it. So I paid for the miner was $287, and that was with the power supply and stand, no rear fan. Again, I tried to select the rear fan, but it'd show out of stock when I did. I also bought a hat and t-shirt just because I love the hats, honestly. Some of my favorite quality hats, they fit well, and I got a big old head, so they fit really nice. So anyways, so over here we have the NerdQaxe in stock Revision 6 in stock configuration, drawing 76.7 watts. It is using a 124 watt power brick. This is the one from Vimu, and this is the new Revision 7. We're going to get into it. We're going to take it to the table and break it down, but let's get it set up first. So pause the video. I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm actually going to tear that one down too while we're doing both. We're going to do a side-by-side comparison of the boards and everything. and then I'll talk about some of the new features and stuff like that. So hang on 1 second. All right, so we're back. We got the other NerdQaxe out of the way. So let's take a look at the power supply real quick. As you can see that. The 124 watt power supply. It's a switching power supply from Sunshiny. Anyways, my Vimu one had the same power supply. That's great. It's been okay. It's not a terrible power supply. Obviously, you know, your mileage may vary, but mine has been pretty good. So of course, with any of the XT connectors, we plug the connector in first. Looks like it goes like that. There we go. Man, I couldn't figure it out. And let's plug it in and hope no sparks fly. Now, a little tidbit of information. They just actually posted today or the day before about some firmware stuff, and we'll go into that at a different time, but there is an update for the firmware, and there's some options you need to select. So we're not going to update right now. We're just going to go for it and see what we got. So let's go ahead. The one thing I don't like about the NerdQaxe setup is you can actually see like your network address and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and set it up. We'll get it connected. Right now we're not drawing anything for power, so it's like what, 2 watts, which that's pretty good for not being connected to anything. So let's go ahead and get it connected to the Wi-Fi. And come on, broadcast the network. Some of the NerdQaxes take a little bit longer to broadcast, so I always give them a few minutes. So we go ahead and got it. NerdQaxe A5B1. And it's loading the starting screen. There we go. So let's go to settings. And we're going to go host name. So of course we're going to name it the Solo Satoshi. So we'll go Solo Sat. The NerdQaxe 7.0. Let's put my Wi-Fi credentials in there. Remember, guys, when you're adding and it autofills, do not leave spaces on the end. I cannot stress that enough. That it happens, and if you leave it on there, the setup will fail. Okay. So it's set to public pool automatically. We're going to go to. Oh crap! That won't work. I'll have to do this one for my computer because I don't like trying to do Mining Dutch's stuff from here. But we'll get it set up and we'll get at least going real quick. And remember, guys, so here, just a good example. I was leaving it auto-filled from the last time, and I have to backspace. If you don't do that, you can fail the setup. So just be careful. It happens. I've done it a couple of times now on new miners, or even when I've flashed with the updated firmware or a different firmware I was looking at. So, okay, so we're going to go ahead and just save it, and then we're going to restart the miner. Let's see if it gets connected to my Wi-Fi. It kicked me out. Okay. And then we'll look at the settings real quick to see what it's hashing at. Let's get a look at. Boy, sometimes these screens are a little small and I have to hold them up to see. 51. Okay. .1.51. Get us to the dashboard to make sure we're doing what we're supposed to here. Okay, so it's turning up the speed a little bit. The dashboard looks a little bit different on the mobile version. So let's go to settings. So we're 600, 1200, so it should hash at about 4.8 terahash or so. That's the stock configuration. And so was my Vimu was doing that, and it was staying cool. It wasn't overheating or anything like that. So we are good. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to let it run for a while, and we'll see what we're looking at thermal-wise, stock configuration out of the box. And then we'll put the heat gun to it a little bit, and then we'll move over to the desktop and burn and tear them all down, okay? So hang tight for a second, guys. Okay, so we're back. It's been about 15, 20 minutes. We've let it work a little bit. Temps are looking okay. It is reading 65. Now, I'm going to swing away from the desk over there and come over to the computer. You won't be able to see this, but I'll tell you what's going on. So it's interesting because there's actually two temp readings. You have your voltage regulator, and then you have a VRT XEXT and a VRT internal temp. So basically, the internal means the direct sensor, and then the external is the temperature around the PCB around that. So that'll be easy to check real fast. ASIC temperature is 64.9, so kind of running warmer. Let's go look at the settings and see if the fan is running any warmer. I'm sure it's just on auto. Target temp 65. Okay, so they want this to run a little bit warmer, it seems like. Shutdown temp is 70. Cool. Interesting. They want it to run a little bit warmer on the ASIC, which look between 60 and 70 is a pretty good temp for your ASIC. It's okay to run it that warm. It's not a big deal. So let's fire up the thermal camera real quick and see if we can get any looks at it. I'm going to try to see if you can get this to somewhat focus for you guys, but here we go. So obviously our two, because this runs a dual TPS setup, kind of like the GT 801, both of those TPSs are getting a little warm. So if we kind of come in and focus, yeah, they're getting warm, and they're reading pretty accurately compared to what I'm getting on the desktop, which is good. With no back fan, we're not getting the extra cooling, and that's why we're still running in our stock configuration. Now let's see if I can pop this off the board, the stand real quick without hurting anything, and kind of hold it. We'll just hold it like this and see if we can get a temp reading on the back. Okay, so look, right there on the back, we're getting those hot spots, and then obviously some hot spots around the ASICs. So interesting setup. So this was designed with the two power phases instead of just a single. Well, the two TPSs instead of just a single, which is supposed to be better, and I think it will be. To be honest, that's why I like the GT so much, because they have dual power phases or dual TPSs for the chips, and this will be better over time, and you're less likely to have a VR failure or voltage regulator or TPS failure because you're running two phases. So let's take this up. Let's get over to the desktop, and we're going to break it down. And I'm going to break down the NerdQaxe off camera, the other one from Vimu, just to give a side-by-side comparison. So hang on just a second, guys. Okay, guys, so real quick before we get to the breakdown process, I wanted to show you this interface because it's a little bit different than I'm used to. So over here, we have our dual VR temps. It reads the internal temps and external temps. And then, like I said, we have our ASIC temps and stuff right here. So it's hanging in there at 65, and then obviously the VRs are 63. I'm not trying to cool them off. I want to run this in its stock configuration long term, or turn it up to its at least advertised hash rate, which is 6.1, kind of like the NerdQaxe Revision 6.1. That's supposed to be its safe overclock area. I am on my stuff now, so yeah, I wanted to show you guys that real fast and see, like right here, if you hover over this menu, it tells you what it means when it's reading those temps, which is kind of cool. I'm over on Mining Dutch, of course. And then my best difficulty already. And crazy enough, my Vimu one has my highest difficulty at 14.4T. So that's my big one, at least the best that I've gotten. Funny enough, my Hammer Miner has a 1.59, and that's the Dogecoin version. Kind of weird. I didn't get a Dogecoin from that. Anyways, just a little poke at him. All right, let's go to the bench top, and I'll show you what's going on. We're going to tear that thing down and give you a full look at everything on it, and we'll compare it side to side with the NerdQaxe Revision 6.1. So hang on a second. All right, guys, so here we go. We're going to tear this down. Obviously, it comes off the stand super easy. We're just going to ditch that. I should have just ordered it without the stand, but I had to check out their stand too because I planned to put it on that Carpoo's mining stand. So initial teardown, pretty straightforward. Obviously, we need to take the peel off, take the screen off, unplug the fan, and it's using a Thermalright fan. I don't know if that's a Thermalright cooler. Could be wrong, but let's go ahead and pull the screws on it and find out. I'm pretty sure that is a Thermalright cooler as well. I could be wrong. I'll need to look that, make sure. So obviously be really cool. These screws aren't very tight, so we're not trying to overkill them. We're just gonna, and these are spring loaded, so be careful, guys. You want one of them spring loaded cooling fans or fans or the spring loaded screw to fly off at you. Let's get this off. I think we should be good now. Pretty long screws, so there they are. Let's hold that up there for you guys to see. That guy right there, spring loaded. I'm going to separate them over here in the screws from this. And we'll just let the board release naturally if we can. Yeah, no tension on it now. That over. We'll take that off. A little light on thermal paste, but I think that's okay. We'll find out. We'll set it right there. So it looks like, and I'll show you this here in just a second. Let me clean this thermal paste off. Let's clean this. Very good looking board. Very blank on the front, which is interesting because I think that's just because of the redesign. You know, they don't have as much going on, and also I don't know if and I can show this into on the screen. Obviously, there's part placement differences here because they changed the revision. They went from a single power phase to a dual power phase setup. Well, a single TPS to a dual TPS setup, I should say. Cleaned up nicely. Thermal paste is pretty fresh because, I mean, let's be real, they just barely built these things. You know, I got on the second time when it went out of stock. So let's look at these boards side by side. I got to take the Lily Go off of this one. I don't want to mix these up, so I'm going to set it over here out of the way. So there we go. First and foremost, the chips are oriented differently on this. See, they're going this way, the chrome part is, and then on this one, they're going this way. Also, we don't have all these power phases on the front here like this. We have just the two TPSs, the two voltage regulators, two caps, and resistors. Pretty cool. This one's a little crooked, but it still works fine. No heat sinks. It didn't come with anything pre-installed. And on the NerdQaxe Revision 6.1, the TPS is actually under the screen. So you can't properly get a good cooling on it because it is under the screen. It'd be cool if we could find a way to get something to flow air under the screen to cool that off. But I will definitely be putting a heatsink on this just because. And then obviously I want to cool my voltage regulators or my inductor coils and my resistors. So over here we have our two TPSs. This is the redesign, and this is supplies better voltage, higher current, or was it more voltage, less current? It's supposed to be. So we'll figure that out here shortly. But that's a side by side comparison. Obviously the boards are cleaner. This is from Vimu, and Vimu marks their boards like this during the process. They are a manufacturer. So similar to Solo Satoshi, they build their own stuff too. They build stuff off of GitHub and stamp it with their logo. So let's hold this board up nice and close for you guys to take a good peek at. It's a great looking board. Really clean on the front. Really clean. So on the back, we've got a lot of going on around those ASIC chips. And then let's hold up the Vimu board. And obviously it has a crooked inductor coil, but that's okay. It doesn't hurt anything. And then flip it over. And see, there's a lot more going on the back of these boards. So it's a cleaner design, it looks better, and it's supposed to deliver better power more efficiently. So I'm really curious about that, and we'll test that in the long term. But right now we're just doing the unboxing and comparison and review, and not even a review. We're just looking at them, okay? So board wise, it's well designed. It looks really good. It's clean. Doesn't have a lot going on up here like this does. And I really like the two-phase power system setup in it. It's kind of cool. It removes a lot of this excessive heat that we're getting in these areas, and again, it allows me to actually cool these without having to fight with trying to cool the voltage regulator or the TPS right here. This is the TPS and this is the TPS. Inductor coil, inductor coil. They're using Coilcraft coils, which are great. They're good coils, good caps. It's really well designed. Not saying that the NerdQaxe Revision 6.1 isn't a good design. It's actually really good. The most common failures is from bad power supplies or improper cooling and overclocking. So I mean, and that's talking to a lot of the repair places. That's that's their answers. Obviously, your mileage may vary, but that's it. So we're gonna taking this apart is just as the same as taking this apart. This had spacers, and we'll look at the coolers as well. So the cooler on the 6.1 is actually thicker than this one, if you can see right here. So this is the Vimu one, and this is the Solo Satoshi. So this one's a bit thicker. This one has a stainless steel or a machined surface plate, where this one has copper heat pipes in it. It'd been cooler to see the copper heat pipes, but I get it. You know, this is probably a thermal right cooler if I had to guess. I'm not 100% sure. I can try to see if I can figure that out, but I'm not positive I'll be able to. So let's clean off that thermal paste though. Yeah, it looks like, well, I could compare it to the other one I have. So hang on just a second. I'll show you something real quick. Okay, so here's a little sneak peek for you. I'm not going to tell you what it's for, but I have a copper. So there's a copper. There's that one. I'm not sure if this is a thermal right or not. It's definitely not as thick as the copper one. So it's not the AX90, I think is what this is called. Interesting choice of cooler though. It's a little thinner than I'd like it to be, but it may run better again because it's so power efficient difference in how it delivers power. It may not need this big of a cooler. So anyways, let's go ahead and I'll put these back together. I'll do this one off camera because it's a NerdQaxe Plus Plus. I've already tore it down once. I'm gonna be repasting both of them with MX7, and I'll show you the reassembly of this one. But this one I'm gonna do off camera. So hang on just a second, guys. All right, that one's back together and it's working right now. Let's get this one back together. This one is a little bit nicer where it doesn't have these nylon spacers. I'm assuming that this has got to be a thermal right cooler. Probably they're just a regular low profile. I can't guarantee it for 100%, but my gut tells me it's just a regular thermal right cooler, which is fine. It's not a big deal. Thermal right makes good coolers. So let's get some MX7 on there. And again, on that other board, the chips were lined differently too, which was interesting. I didn't know there would be a difference in the alignment of the chips. So let's get a decent amount on there. Now this one uses spring pressure. So in shipping, there's a chance that with that spring pressure that it can be bounced around and cause like a disconnect or create air bubbles in the paste. So something to keep in mind, guys. Sometimes shipping is rough on these things. I can tell you that much. I've learned that. So we'll set this down like this. So we know that this cable was on this side over here, plugged in. We'll set it down like this, and then we'll put the board like this. This is always the fun part of trying to put these together. Always try to throw in at least one screw to get started. Looks like they're dual slotted screws, which is interesting. So is the NerdQaxe Plus Plus Revision 6.1. It was the same way, so not a big deal, not a deal breaker. And because I'm blind, I'm going to kneel down and try to see this to make sure I've got it aligned correctly. All right, we'll put this screw right here just to get the first one started. So we're going to the old eyeballs off because I am blind as a bat. Close up. Okay, we got one screw started. And on this case, I actually recommend either trying to get one on directly on the opposite side, or at least get one started on the same side, because then you can kind of know where everything's going to be. If you can kneel down to do this, it really helps. It just helps you see where you're putting your screws at and where they need to be, so that you're not searching for them. Now this one requires a little bit of pressure, and that's okay. I'm going to put a little spring pressure on that. See, unlike CPUs, ASIC chips don't require pressure, mounting pressure. So we'll just turn these down a little bit. They weren't cranked tight when I took them off, so I'm assuming that's how it's supposed to be. And I watched an IX Tech video, and he actually said to watch how much of your screw is sticking out of the base, so that's why it's good to look at it like this, so you can get an idea of how much of the screw is sticking through the base. Yeah, like that. And then that way you're not bowing the board either. So we'll put like a 2 thread sticking out. I like it. I think that looks good. Yeah. Well, if it's not, I can always tighten it up more. So, all right. Now we're back up on our, so we can see. Put my eyeballs back on. And we'll get it back on its stand and put its fan back in. So this was plugged into the bottom port. So I'm going to plug it right back in there. And we'll do a whole separate video of cooling and stuff like that. Right now, we're just getting our baselines. And then when you put your screen on, make sure it is pinned correctly. Okay, you got all these pins. You need to make sure that it's not one over or two over. You need to make sure it is lined up just right. Okay, and we are pinned correctly. And what I meant by seeing how much thread is sticking out there, you want to try to make it sure it's an even amount. See right there, right there. I think that'll work. Okay, we'll move over to the desktop and we'll give some final thoughts, some thermals. I'm going to let them both cook in next to each other side by side and let them work. And we'll see how it goes. So hang on just a second, guys. Okay, guys, so let's take a real quick look at some of the settings real fast. So this is on the NerdQaxe regular. Now, to get it a direct comparison, I had to turn the voltage on the default up to 1200 because that's what they're running at. So the default on this is 1150, but the default on the revision 7 is 1200. So let's look at that real quick. Also, something that's kind of neat. So there's our compared voltage right there. Something that's kind of neat, the fan controller. You can run it linked, manual, or control on the voltage regulator. So not only can you do it on the fan controller on the ASIC, there's a separate option in here for the fan controller on the voltage regulator. That's pretty cool. So currently, let's go to our dashboards. Currently, without any extra active cooling on that, we're sitting at 64 on the voltage regulator and PCP temp, and 65.1. Our fan is starting to ramp up. We're at 16.33 joules per terahash. And we come over here. This has active cooling on the back with the fan, 59 on the voltage regulator, and I set the target temp to 65 on this as well. So they're running within spec. This one is actually using a lot more power. Using about, this says 82 here, but at the plug it's actually 91. And this one's saying it's using 78. This is the revision 7. Let's go over to the desk and see what it's actually using. So hang on and we'll finish up the video, guys. All right, guys, so we're back over here. We are using 88.4 at the plug with the Solo Satoshi Revision 7 NerdQaxe++. This one uses almost 91 at the plug. So minor differences. They're hashing exactly the same. 4.8 terahash, 4.853, and 4.869. So, I mean, I'll leave it to you, but I think this is a better design with dual TPSs and the ability to actively cool those TPSs. So if we turn on the thermal camera, for one, you can't see the TPS on the NerdQaxe++ Revision 6 because it is underneath the screen. It needs to have a heatsink put there, and we need to figure out a way to actively cool it. I need to pick the brain of some of my fellow 3D printers, and maybe we can find something cool. So here we go. We'll look at this one. Obviously, the power delivery system is getting hot on it. The both of them are getting hot. Like the bottom one's actually getting hotter than about the same. But then all the inductor coils are getting hot, and there's a fan on the back of this one. But then on the front of this one, it's just the TPS is getting hot. The voltage regulators there. The inductor coils aren't getting nearly as hot as these ones are. These inductor coils are getting toasty, and then these ones are not. The TPS is like blotting them out practically. So, yeah, I like the design. Well done on this Solo Satoshi. Uh, Pretty cool. I think it'll be a great option for you guys to pick. Like I said, it's not too bad. And with these things dropping in price, I imagine the price on these aren't going to stay where they are. They said I paid $287 for this one right here, or 287. Yeah, $287 for this one right here. Let me make sure that confirm that. Yeah, $287 even. That was for the miner and a stand and a power brick, no back fan. Now this one was about, I think I almost paid $300 close to that for this one, but that was almost 2 months ago. So prices have come down. You can get these now for like $269, somewhere in that price range. So it's very competitively priced. This is just I think this is a better design. We'll see long term though, because I test everything on this channel. I test it long term. I have miners that I first started with, and I'm still running them, and I'll run them until they die. So, anyways, guys, thanks for taking the time to watch my videos. I'll leave links down below for all the devices used. Um, well, I think I created an affiliate program with Solo Satoshi, but I'm not like an actual affiliate. They have a commission thing, and anything that helps the channel helps the channel. I know. Yeah, I think I did. Maybe I'll see if I can find it. I can't remember, but I'll leave a link to this miner and to this one, and you can take your pick. I know there's been some argument about price wise. Currently, in their current stock configurations, they're about the same, but this has better power delivery. This is a better design than this is. But as long as you're not trying to overkill it, you'll be fine. Anyways, guys, we'll see the long terms. Thanks for watching the videos. Take a look at all the affiliate links down below. They help support the channel. Any tools, any questions of the stuff that I have, I'll leave links down below for you guys. I'll leave a link for the thermal camera and the vessel screwdriver. I know someone asked me about that before. I love that screwdriver. Thanks for taking time to watch. Like and subscribe if you would. We're getting up there. Peace out, guys.